This is the Muddy Boots Podcast, a podcast for those who have been or are stuck in the mud. Building a community of those who are with each other all the way. Well, hello and welcome to the Muddy Boots Podcast. It's so good to be with you. This is episode 2 of season 2.
Yes.
Which is fun.
Yes.
And which is actually episode 10 overall.
Yeah. But it's a 2-2.
It's 2-2. 2-2. Episode 2-2.
Yeah.
0202.
0202.
We don't know the name of it yet, but that's okay.
Welcome,
Mud Skippers.
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
That's fun to have them.
We are still looking for comments on what you'd like to talk about this year.
Yes.
But today we're going to talk about some stuff that I already have in my head.
That's scary.
It's very scary.
Before we do,
Uh-huh.
we have sweatshirts
What?
coming. They're not here, but they're coming.
That's fun.
It is. Muddy Boots sweatshirts.
Can I ask why they're not here yet?
You can.
I just did.
No, you didn't.
Why aren't they here yet?
Because they're not delivered.
Okay.
Asking if you can ask and actually asking
Are two different things.
Yes.
Jinx.
Another Coke. Another Coke.
I'm Matt, by the way.
And I'm Roger.
And we are your hosts for the Muddy Boots Podcast. We should probably start saying that off the top.
Probably should.
I think I forgot last time too.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because people should know by now who we are. But
you'd think.
If we have new viewers or new mud skippers here, then they probably need to know who we are.
I agree.
Yeah. I heard that when we were talking that we may have a new sponsor coming up.
I can't talk yet.
But it's a possibility, right?
Another possibility.
So I'm only saying that. I know we can't divulge who it is or if it's going to happen. I wasn't going to do that.
No.
What I wanted to say was it's super cool that someone wants to sponsor us again, and I just want to thank the whole community for their generosity. Like,
absolutely.
There's people making this happen behind the scenes, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Is that there's talk of people actually sponsoring it, like corporate sponsorship.
Yeah.
But there's also people like you who are giving towards it, and you can continue to do so just to keep us moving along this year to keep doing this. But we're not making money off of this.
No.
But what we're doing is we're trying to keep it going, right? We want to make this sustainable.
Yes.
And pay for itself.
Yes.
Which is part of the deal.
Yes.
So, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing good. We talked last time, and I felt like I was doing really good, and things haven't changed.
Well, that's good.
I'm still in a great place, and feel like I'm worthwhile, and when I've got something that's worthwhile to do, and things that get me up out of bed every morning, and so I feel good. How about you?
I feel good.
How's the slow going?
The slow's going. It's going fast.
Well, that's good.
It's good to fast because, and we talked a lot about this last time, but the way that it recircuits my brain and sort of the way that I feel God speak to me during it is very powerful.
Cool.
And I can only really get to that space, that specific space when I'm fasting.
Yeah.
I communicate with God throughout the year. Obviously, it'd be bad if I didn't, being a pastor.
Yeah. Hi, I communicate with God between January 1 and
January
27 or whatever, yeah. And then I'm good.
Now, that's not to say there aren't some that don't communicate with.
I'm not going to go get that.
But we're not going to go down that road.
Why do that?
I just, because I like to throw the grenades and see what happens. So, anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I
feel good. I feel like things are starting out well this year.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Absolutely good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So I was thinking about some stuff after our conversation, but also just going into this year, we were talking about helping people, right? Then I started thinking about what happens in our own brains when we talk about helping other people, right? Mm-hmm. There's a saying that you have about selfishness. you say that we're all three things. What are the three things that you identify as? I think you say selfish,
myopic,
and
self-centered. Self-centered, myopic. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like the this hindrance to helping others as ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really other people.
No.
I think we like to say that, well, other people are getting in the way of me helping them.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's really me more often than not. I'm not saying there aren't some people that don't want help. There are.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it's me getting in the way of myself. So maybe you can break down those three things a little bit.
Oh, I can. Yeah. I started thinking about this years ago. Actually, for those of you, I don't know, some of you may not know Highway 101 on the coast.
I love Highway 101, by the way.
Yeah. And it's a 2-laner. But I came up with the saying social unconsciousness. Because you're riding along this beautiful coastline on this road, and you come across this guy pulling a trailer.
I know where you're going with this.
And there's actually a law in Oregon that says if you've got more than 5 cars behind you, you need to pull out and they have pullouts made, let them go by. And it's a great law because it came out of people getting on head-ons because somebody would finally get upset and try to pass everybody and get in a wreck. I was sitting behind this guy pulling this trailer at a whopping 35 miles an hour, and I was 22 cars down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm like, and we finally get to the passing lane, and then everybody's doing the Indy 500, right? So you go through 2 or 3 passing lanes before you can catch up to
right.
And I get up to the guy, and I'm looking over, and he's just driving along. He doesn't care. He doesn't, And it's like, it's all about me. Why would I pull over? Because it would negatively impact my day. Mm-hmm. I'd have to pull over a lot because people get right self-centered. It's all about me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Then myopic. Myopic is just a word meaning small. Mm. My universe is small.
Right.
My world is small. My world is me. I'm not looking out for anybody else. I don't care about anybody else. If I'm good, we're good. I'm self-centered, and I'm myopic, and and so when we run up against people like we spend our days helping other people, mm-hmm. people that are self-centered, myopic really stand out.
Yeah.
They really do. It's like, and I really have to fight myself because we're supposed to love everybody. And I'm looking at this person and go, man, you are just negatively impacting all these people over here.
Right.
Just because you want to do this.
And there's really no way to help that person, right?
Well, no. This person here?
Like the person who's
myopic?
Yeah.
No, because a lot of times, we all have a level of narcissism in us.
Sure.
Right? Narcissism is actually a good thing to a level. It keeps us alive, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on me, making sure.
making
right?
sure I'm okay.
Oh, I'm going to eat too, right?
Sure.
But when you get into these different levels of narcissistic activity, it's bad. Mm. And I don't know if lately we're developing it in society or what, or it's just people, they just don't care.
Right.
They don't care. Oh, they care about you offending them somehow, but they don't care if they offend you. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. So basically, like, if anything comes into their world, that would war against anything that they sort of feel or believe
or entitled to,
it needs to get
squashed.
Okay,
squashed. postmodern tribalism.
Okay.
Postmodernism is just simply, I have my world and you have your world. I have my story, you have your story. If our stories come together, then we can be friends. But if your story is different than my story, you're wrong and I'm right.
Okay.
And now tribalism, everybody's got a level of tribalism. I mean, when you really start walking through the whole thing, there's a reason you and I and the people live in Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason we're here. It's there's a reason certain people come to the YMCA. Tribal, okay? We have a level of connectedness. But when tribalism goes rampant, and we see this in all walks of life, where people come together and they're a group, they're a tribe. And in postmodern tribalism, where you have my story is my story, your story is your story. If our stories are alike, we can be friends, but if they're different, we can't.
Right.
You're wrong and I'm right. Well, then tribalism takes it a little step further to the point of we need to destroy you.
Right.
Cancel culture is postmodern tribalism.
Yeah. I'd say modern day politics.
Modern day politics is postmodern tribalism.
Yeah.
You're seeing it. It's not only are you wrong, but you became evil.
Right.
And need to be destroyed. And it's like in a world where we want to bring people together, we're unifiers, we're community builders.
Right.
And we want unity, that flies in the face of us. And so it becomes a very difficult thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah. It's funny too, because that's the very thing that culture at large used to indict the church with.
Sure.
Was that, well, you hate us if we don't believe what you believe, right? Which, yes, there was probably a measure of that in people who claimed to be Christian that didn't really walk out the values of Christ.
There's a lot of people that claim to be things they're really not.
Right. And I'm sure they experienced that from those people, that they experienced a level of hate or whatever.
Absolutely.
But now it's funny because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We hated that about you, and now we hate you if you disagree with what we have to say and want to squash you out.
Now, to bring it back a little bit, like if you want a really good example of self-centered, myopic, is a Black Friday sale. Where everybody rushes the store and they're fighting over TVs. And
right.
There's only one reason you're doing that.
Yeah. Because you want. Because you deserve or you
want whatever it is. Yeah. And we justify behavior.
Yeah.
Most of the time we're walking around, I'll tell somebody, you want to read a book really fast, just read the first 2 sentences of every paragraph and just keep going. You'll get the book. Okay? Because the first sentence or two is telling you what that paragraph is going to be about.
Sure. And
then the rest of the paragraph is just describing what that is or justifying that statement.
Right.
So if you want to read a book really fast, just read the first sentence or two of every paragraph and go. Matter of fact, you want to go really fast, read the first paragraph and the last paragraph of every chapter. You'll pretty much figure it out. That's how you get through college.
Tips. That's a free tip.
It's a free
you
tip.
Get that
There's
one.
A freebie right there.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, it's just, justification of behavior.
Right.
I did this. Why'd you do this? Oh, blah, 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 Yeah. No, it doesn't make it right.
Right. Or correct, I should say.
Or correct. Yeah.
So when we're teaching a community how to love its neighbor, which is one of the mantras of the Y.
Yeah.
Like, how do we, or at least it's one of your mantras to the Y. I don't know if the Y picks it up nationally. I hear you say it. How about that?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
If we are truly teaching a community how to love its neighbor, then is there any way to help people who are on the spectrum a little bit more of, that myopic sort of behavior, or do we just model selflessness as much as we can and hope that they pick it up?
Well, that's a good thing. Is we like to make really cool big humans out of little humans in the Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all about the kids, right? And so, and every kid, I want a cookie. I want a cookie. I want a cookie, right? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They're a little self-centered. So we teach love, respect, honesty, responsibility, and service in all of our programming here. Let's think outside of ourselves. Let's think outside of our wants, you know. And so we do all these things on Beyond Behaviors, all these really cool things. And yeah, because it's a lot easier to work with a kid than try to fix an adult.
Yeah.
And you know, we've had some success with adults as well.
Sure.
You know, just it takes a little longer. You know, we just continually love on them, and you know, we use our principles over the word no a lot. Why don't we look at it this way? Reframing.
Yeah. Like, here's why we believe this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. And we see that in, I mean, because we have a lot of programs for youth. So our youth development is, we have basketball.
Enrichment.
We have Y time.
Y time.
We have
after school enrichment.
Yeah.
Camps.
Swim stuff.
Swim stuff. Camps. Yeah, you name it.
So it just goes through
and
all
of those are all different avenues to get to teaching love, respect, honesty, responsibility, and service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as far as just in the community, that's part of what we try to at least instill in the Y staff.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah,
starts with leadership.
We have a code of conduct.
Yeah.
And I've booted people that could not adhere to our code of conduct because we're not going to put up with it.
Right.
It's not okay for you to bully somebody.
Yeah.
It is not okay for you to berate a staff member.
There's a culture that
There's
we're
a
trying
culture
to create.
here. Yeah. It's okay. We can have these conversations, but it's got to be done in a respectful manner.
Right. So there's a reason why people feel the way they feel when they walk into the Y. There's a lot of work that's gone behind that.
Yeah.
And so I guess the reason why I wanted to talk about that was just because one of our goals with the podcast is not only to share the ways that the Y is helping, but to sort of inspire to really inspire our mud skippers to do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we want to make our community better, or the community that you're in, better. You know?
It's literally, I mean, I'm always on a journey of trying to be better. Be better today than I was yesterday. Same thing. It's you're never going to arrive.
Yeah.
But boy, you know.
Can you teach self-awareness?
I don't know. As soon as I become self-aware, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about I think the key to not being so myopic, or at least being less selfish or self-centered, is self-assessment, right? Like evaluation of myself.
Sure.
How have I been selfish?
Yes.
I would say that like the first one of the most powerful ways that I've found out how selfish I am is to get married, right? Now, some people get married and they never find out how selfish they are. Their spouse just leaves them.
Yeah.
It says, you're a self-centered, blah, blah, yada, yada, fill in the blank, right? They don't really learn the lesson. They just kind of do likewise over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But some people take it seriously and recognize that, I'm actually now with another human being who matters, and their emotions matter, their thoughts matter, their opinions matter.
Right.
And so it would be good for me to assess whether or not I'm being, not so kind.
Right.
I could use some other words, but we're trying to keep this at a G rating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what are some, those are the ways I think of like self-assessment. I'm sure just people getting thrown into the mix of the YMCA, people have learned that lesson.
Oh,
right?
they have.
Staff, like I'm sure you've seen people grow.
Oh, I have. You bet. A number of years ago, a couple aquatic directors ago, I was coming in and I didn't even make it out of the parking lot. And here comes the aquatics director. Roger, I need you. Help, help, help. And I'm thinking somebody's drowning. I mean, I don't know what's going on. So I come in and she had a couple of, she had Judy and what was his name? Doesn't matter. I'll call him Bob.
Yeah, Bob's a good name.
Bob's a good name, especially for water.
Good call.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You like it?
Uh-huh. Good dad joke.
Yeah. And so, they were having a water walking class. And Judy was 70.
You mean submerged?
No, wait.
Not like Jesus walking on water.
Not walking on water. Walking in the water. It's in basically our rec pool, therapy pool. It's a little hotter, things like that. And it's an arthritis class.
Okay.
And Judy's 72 years old at the time. And Bob was like 500 pounds. The only place he could really walk was in the pool. Well, Judy got mad at Bob because Bob was standing in her spot.
Okay.
Okay, Bob's 65, she's 72, right?
So Bob's got a trajectory.
Oh, let me finish.
Okay.
He's standing in her spot. And so Judy comes into conflict with Bob. Bob retaliates and they get back and forth. Finally, Bob gets mad enough where he says, Judy, you're an ass. And Judy looks at him and says, you want to see an ass? I'll show you. And takes her swim trunks and yards them all the way. Nobody needs to see
72-year-old,
Yeah.
65-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Children.
Yeah. And so the aquatics director has them in her office.
Okay.
Okay.
This already might be my favorite story that you've ever told about the Y, but okay.
I enter the scene. Okay.
And this is like you're new to this Y?
Yeah, this was, it was probably 2013 or so, a couple of years in, but to this Y. But I got the opportunity to teach respect to Judy and Bob and explain to them respect isn't something that you expect someone else to give you.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you give to someone else. I also had the opportunity to explain what water walking was.
Okay.
Okay. Water walking is walking in the water. There are no spots.
Yeah.
There should be no standing. You can't stand in somebody's spot if you're both walking. So why were you mad about somebody standing in their spot? You weren't listening and being respectful to the instructor of the class because you're just standing there talking.
Right.
It was interesting how once I started reframing things, these elderly children had the light bulb go off going, oh, we're the problem.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm still, by the way.
My God! You can't get it. No, you can't. You can't get out of it.
I'm dead over here. Like
No, you don't. You don't. Nobody needs to see that. No.
Oh. So these are the kind of things. Like this is human. This is human. Like humanity at its worst, but at its most real. Right. I mean, I'm laughing, but the truth is what about the guy who I yelled at, who wouldn't get out of my way when I'm trying to, go 65 on the freeway, right?
Oh, yeah. Did you verbally yell at him?
Well, he couldn't hear me, but I did.
Yeah, you know why you did that?
Why?
It's interesting. So you're going along and you're singing your Christian songs and being all Jesus-y.
I wasn't doing that, but okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
and spiritual. And somebody cut you off, right? And next thing you know, you're screaming at the top of your lungs at this person, right?
Right.
Even though you know they can't hear you, and even if they could, they wouldn't even care, right?
Right.
Okay.
They're not changing anything.
No. The fact is, the reason you're doing that is you need to hear audibly that you have been wronged and somebody agrees with you that you've been wronged, even if that somebody is you. That's why we do this crazy
so
stuff.
Interesting.
And once you realize it, you go, oh,
yeah.
Why would you do that? You know?
Yeah. Well, I do need to hear myself sometimes. Does that make me self-centered?
No.
Does it make me myopic?
I'm not saying that.
I'm asking a question. I want to know.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's how it works.
Because here's the thing. Okay, we live in, for those of you who are listening outside of our area, we live in Vancouver, Washington, which is adjacent to Portland, Oregon.
Across the river.
Yeah. Both cities have some of the worst drivers that I've ever come into contact with in my life. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So
but then again, every city I go to, I would say that.
Okay, fair enough. But I don't understand, Roger, and now I'm verbalizing this to you because I want to not only verbalize it to myself, but I want somebody else to tell me that I'm okay.
Okay.
Why, when we're trying to get on the freeway, do we go 20, 30 miles per hour on the ramp, on the on-ramp?
Yeah. All the way to the end.
All the way to the end when there's semi trucks, right? You know, cars flying by at 60, 70 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And we're ramping up to a clean 30 miles per hour. And there's like 10 cars behind that person.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why do those people still get allowed? Why are they allowed to drive?
I don't have an answer to that. You know, it's kind of funny. So you go to the East Coast and there's a lot of honking. Right?
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. In Portland, it's like Portland nice or something.
Yeah.
You all get to the stop sign at the same time. There's all this.
Right.
Just do the rules of the road.
Yeah.
The guy on the right, go. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and now we got roundabouts going in everywhere.
It's terrible.
Oh, I had a person going through a roundabout stop and wave somebody through.
No one knows how to use a roundabout.
I'm like, what are you doing?
We didn't get trained on that.
No.
They didn't have those.
No.
A four-way stop. Everything was a four-way stop.
Yes.
And people don't even know how to use four-way stops. How do we expect them to?
Oh my God. I can't get out of the roundabout.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is fun.
That feels good to just let that out.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I was here.
Now, why does it feel good for me to let that out?
Because it's pent up frustration.
Why does it matter?
Because it matters to you. You made it matter.
Okay.
Remember when I was on the dairy farm, right? Big stuff, little stuff.
Yeah.
That's all little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The dairy farm, by the way, is when I had chemo treatments, and we're all hooked up like dairy cattle to the poison.
Right.
And we'd sit around and talk about big stuff, little stuff. And you know what? Pretty much everything's little stuff.
Right.
There's only a couple of things that are really, really, even, you know, big stuff. We just want to make it big. So we're stuck at a stop sign.
Right.
I've got the old country saying, did anybody get hurt? Did anybody die? No?
Right.
Good day.
So an interesting thing that happens with us, I think, is, and maybe this is where this leads to, is so there's two sides of this coin that we're talking about. There's this sort of myopic, selfish, like, you know, others focused thing. And then there's sort of the hidden, like, I'm going to take care of everybody else side of pride.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I don't matter. You know, it's like a self-depreciation.
Yeah.
Or deprecation, I guess is what you call it, right? And so when you're talking about big stuff, little stuff, I think it's important, and maybe this will help someone, but it's important to not minimize our story, right?
Right.
We talk about this in counseling. I mean, I know in my therapy sessions, I've had to talk about this a lot, is, you know, we can easily say, well, my condition or my thing is not as bad as, say, Roger's or whoever else, right?
Right.
Like, it's easy for me to say, well, Roger has cancer. So the stuff I'm going through is like nothing. I shouldn't even be
right.
Like, I shouldn't feel bad about or whatever it might be. Right.
Right.
And you could say that about like, well, you're not starving in a third world country.
Right. Well, I had these things with a conversation with an individual the other day. We were driving down the road and there was a ambulance that went by. And, the person, well, I may be having a bad day, but at least I'm not that. And then they go, God, why would I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I say that?
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's because we want to feel like we're doing better than something.
Right.
My dad used to tell me, you don't have to look very far to find somebody's got it worse off than you, even when I had the cancer, right? Yeah.
Sure.
But it wasn't like, oh, at least I'm not. It was like, yeah, okay, I can help that person.
Yeah.
Or I can come alongside them. I don't know what kind of help I can give them, but yeah, we all have that. We all have a level of, there goes an ambulance.
Sure.
Well, at least I'm not in that. That guy's having a worse day than I am.
Right.
We have a level of that. Maybe that's a level of narcissism. Just all right.
And perspective is good.
Perspective is good, but then to shame yourself about it.
Right.
No, let's get off the shame cycle thing.
Yeah.
You acknowledged it. Let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
I think the danger, or at least the part that's not healthy, is to say, well, I should be happier now because I'm not in that situation.
Well, and then the other part about it is the Friends, the show Friends, remember that?
Yeah.
They did a whole thing on why do I feel good when I help somebody? So they were trying to be this altruistic, just I can help somebody without feeling good. And the whole show was, oh, dang, I still feel good.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and somebody's having a conversation with me about it. I go, well, yeah, God made us that way. Why wouldn't he?
Right.
You help somebody, you feel good, you'll do it again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you help somebody who feels bad, you won't do it again. It's all part of the plan.
Right.
So don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think we're beating ourselves up over stuff we don't need to beat ourselves up over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
really think that we are such a shame-based society that we feel shame if we're not feeling shame.
True.
We've grown up in shame.
Right.
Right?
Like it feels like something's missing, like something's wrong, like something wrong with me.
Yeah. You've never been unconditionally loved, right? It's always had a condition. I'll love you if you clean your room. I'll love you if you don't bother mom and dad when they're talking. I'll love you if you get good grades in school. I love you if it's a math problem.
Right.
If then, rather than just I love you.
Yeah.
I just simply love you. Yeah, sometimes I may get disappointed. Yeah, sometimes
get angry.
Maybe I might get my feelings hurt, but that doesn't stop me from just loving you.
Right.
Yeah. And let's just get over it. Stop the shame cycle.
Yeah. So getting back to that, teaching a community how to love its neighbor.
Yeah.
Loving your neighbor is loving someone regardless of fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank.
Right? Because if we look at that story with Jesus and the Good Samaritan and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
There were tons of cultural things Jesus was doing there.
Yes.
Not to mention making the good guy of the story the one who they thought was the bad guy.
Sure.
But the whole idea of that person, the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan,
yes,
was willing to do
he went
whatever
over
it takes. Yeah, whatever it takes.
He was with this guy all the way.
Yeah. I want him to be well.
Yeah.
So
and if it ended up costing more than what I gave you, let me know. I'll give you the rest.
Let me know.
Just let me know.
Yep.
Shirt off your back.
Yep. And it doesn't matter if you're someone off the streets.
Nope.
Who got beat up. Doesn't matter if you're a king, if you're...
Right.
None of that matters. If you're hurt, I'm here to help.
Right.
If you need a hand, I'm here to give it to you.
Right.
So that's what it's like to really love our neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that definitely takes we have to take the shame off of ourselves, number one, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but we also have to recognize and be self-aware of those places where we're a little bit self-centered.
Yeah, I mean, we always have that. And like I said, it's always good to have a little bit of self-centeredness,
You mean to keep me alive?
Yeah, I'm going to eat too, right?
Yeah.
But if it's growing, and there's a lot of that in our society today. I don't know. I can only speak for America.
Yeah,
We're seeing
that's
it.
where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And so, I mean, when you see something, we need to address it and just work at it. And because it's just, otherwise nothing will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do
Yeah.
here at the Y.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Well, no, thank you.
Yeah. I think this was good. It was a good conversation.
Well, thanks.
Kind of flew by, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for. See, these are the kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So what are the topics? This is what I want to know.
Yeah, we need topics. We need all sorts of stuff.
What are the things you want to hear about? What are the questions you have, or the things you're dealing with on a daily basis, like we just talked about, that
Right.
We can just talk about. Maybe you just need to hear somebody talk about it, because that makes you feel better, right?
Something
Makes you feel like something's going on.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Sounds
Anything
like
else
a
you
plan.
want to say?
No, I love you all.
Okay. Yeah. Have a great week. Great rest. 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we love you so much. Again, leave a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about. And we're here for you, mud skippers. We're with you all the way.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have a great day.